Network. Welcome to the NHL Lowdown Game 5 recap with the one and only PHF champion. Yes, PHF champion Taylor Woods. And I mentioned champion twice because that's New York. I was going to say start spreading the news. I don't know what it is, what's the song in Vegas, but we will knight you, not rock you. The Vegas Golden Knights for the second time in 6 years. First time capturing the Stanley. I mentioned 6 years. Yet again, I mentioned 6 years, Taylor, because you know why? 1967. I wasn't born. You weren't born. Marty Roberts was. To tell you how long it is, Marty Roberts was not born. Norm Rumack was like 9 years old. All right, he's an old fart. Okay, but the Vegas Golden Knights have captured Lord Stanley's mug. The Stanley Cup will reside in Las Vegas. But wait, Game 5 in Vegas. If I tell you, look at the scroll 9-3. Nine goals, all of them on Sergei Bobrovsky. All right? 9 goals. Taylor, first of all, I'm going to ask you, they're just presenting the Stanley Cup to the players and all that. You were there about 2 months ago getting the Isabel Cup. What is it like? And you scored the tying goal, right? What is it like? Take us through the feelings of Mark Stone, Jack Eichel, all these guys, Ian Hill, and everybody like that, first of all.
Yeah, like it means everything. Like you've worked so hard with your teammates, and especially a lot of them like it was a starting team. A lot of them have been there since day one, like the misfits. So they've been battling, they've been proving what they need to do, and yeah, it's a surreal moment. I know for me, like with the I think it was like the founding set, or like there's seven of us that were there from day one, and we celebrated, and it was something that um, we were close at winning the first time, close to winning the second time, had a chip on the shoulder, and it felt right. So yeah, it's very surreal moments, and it's just all hard work.
So you mentioned hard work, okay? For those people who don't, I know we'll talk about the game and everything, but the game was secondary, 9-1. It was over in the first period when it was like 5-0 or whatever, or 5-1. But take us through. You finally accomplished your goal, and I know you're in mid-20s, but you dream about this goal when you're 4, 5, 6 years old, and 20 years later, 30 years later, you finally get it.
It's again, it's surreal. Like you're in that those moments there, and it's just like you're celebrating with your team. You just reminisce of like even yeah, like all the hard work that you put in, encapsulated into just one thing. So whenever you sort of look at the cup, it's like man, like it brings back memories of just different things, which is truly rewarding. So
All right, so I hold on. I had to bring a mascot in because he wants to, you know, Miami Heat is out of the playoffs now. He wants to replace the mascot for Miami Heat since Conor McGregor knocked him out and put him into hospital. Say hello to your good friend Marty Roberts.
hey,
What's
yeah, that was a
happening?
big punch, hey? Could you survive that? I guess that was the qualifying, hey,
I,
to
I
get through.
I have a strong chin. I can handle it.
Yeah, well,
See, it was dead straight on the nose.
Well, look at this nose. It's taken a few or two.
all right. So Marty, Stanley Cup, like we predicted back in September, the Vegas Golden Knights are your Stanley Cup champions. But it's not even are you Stanley Cup champions. Gary Bettman's being booed, so kudos to Vegas. He's presenting the Conn Smythe. We're just going to get to the Conn Smythe Award, but 9-3. If I tell you in Game 5, the score will be 9-3. All goals against Bobrovsky.
You know what? Bobrovsky really struggled tonight holding on to the puck. I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 goals were because he couldn't hold on to the puck. That was the difference maker there. I like even the ninth
Jonathan
goal.
Marchessault won the Conn Smythe. Sorry. Jonathan Marchessault has been announced as the Conn Smythe Award winner.
Even though he only had what 1 point tonight in nine.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. Throughout the series,
I would say if Hill had played more than 30, what did he play? 13 games.
yeah.
He might have gotten it.
Well, what do you say, Taylor, first of all? And then we'll go back to Marty.
It's tough. There's a lot of players that played really well on Vegas coming through, and like even the first like what 2 rounds, they were sort of overshadowed. Like you had the Maple Leafs drama, you had maybe the second Canadian team, Edmonton, come in. And then just picking off of different teams, and as soon as like Vegas won against Edmonton, now all eyes are on Vegas. So Marchessault played well. I know like he was silent in the first round, then he came through. But there's also a ton of players that played really well. And then we also was like Florida, if they would have won or maybe a few more series here and there, like they had a really, really good run from being an eighth seed. It's just, it is also just speculated off of who wins and who loses. So both sides had really good players that stepped up.
Let's look at this game. I'll start off with Marty. The big news in this game was Kachuk not playing. That was stunning everybody on CBC and Sportsnet because this guy, either he has a broken leg or a broken arm or concussed or something. For him not to play in a Stanley Cup could be a clinching game. Something is seriously wrong with Kachuk. What do you say, Marty?
Oh yeah, there's no question that something is it was hurting him so bad that it wouldn't allow him to tie the skates up. There's no question about that. And there probably is a lot of people that were happy that he wasn't there just because of who he is. People are probably glad that he's not playing, but there's a big hole that Florida would have to fill with Kachuk not there. Like this game, first 6-7 minutes, Vegas was on their heels, turning the puck over. You would have thought this would have been a different outcome, and then all of a sudden Stone scores the goal, and that's it. The floodgates open up, and Las Vegas takes off. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Kachuk might need some type of surgery for him not to have played tonight.
Or concussion.
Yes, or concussion.
What do you say, Taylor? You think he had concussion?
I even just mentioned on the last broadcast, like I can't wait to see the injury list on this and how hard these players battled through because there's more than just Kachuk having an injury on this team. You can sort of just see it's just wounded. Yes, like they lost their sail like once going got tough, but yeah, I think there's a lot of injuries. But hey, they fought really hard. They fought a lot of games. And yeah, playing against the Leafs, the Bruins, it adds up.
Mark Stone is holding up the Stanley Cup. Of course, he's the captain of the Vegas Golden Knights. Something that I won't see in my history because Maple Leafs will never win the Stanley Cup. But let's give it to the hot dog eating. No Jersey playing. Phil Kessel. I have to do this for Giancarlo Lino. Phil Kessel, not one, not two, but a three-time Stanley Cup champion, Marty Roberts, in my books. You know what that means? HOF, Hall of Famer. What do you say?
Well, if there is a Hall of Fame for wiener eating contest, yeah, he's in it.
And you know how you basically, Taylor, you got to understand. Marty Roberts is the king of wiener eating contests here on the Fired Up Network.
So
Let me
double
tell you.
praise.
And this is a girl who is. Are you still starving? Are you cutting down weight for your tournament on Thursday?
Yep, I weigh in on Friday, so
Marty,
Does that mean after Friday, as soon as you weigh in, you can feast?
yes. Actually, in terms of a water cut, I have to drink. I had to drink 8 liters of water today.
8 liters of
Eight
water.
liters.
I don't think I ever drank 8 liters of water ever. So
How close you been to the toilet all day then?
It's made some. I went back and forth a few times.
but what is that a strict regimen when you're weight cutting?
It varies and everything. It's just sort of at the point. I've done some local competitions, so it's like my weight's a little bit higher. So in order to manipulate it, right, because you could fluctuate between 5 pounds a day. So if you do it with water, you can fluctuate a little bit more. So yeah, it is a very common regimen.
So I want to ask this. I'll start off with Marty. So Vegas winning the Stanley Cup, first time in 6 years, second time going to the Stanley Cup. Now, will the Maple Leafs win the Stanley Cup, or will Seattle Kraken win it before the Maple Leafs?
Who knows? Everyone
Well,
might
not
win it
who
before the
knows.
Leafs do it
Yeah, give me
again.
a yes or no because the Seattle
No,
second
no,
year they made it to the second round.
no, no. It was set up a little bit better for Vegas during that draft
Yeah,
to set them up for this than it was for Seattle. And Vegas still has players left over from that draft, and they benefited from trading some of those guys. So it was a different situation with Vegas when they came into the league as opposed to Seattle. I don't think you see Seattle win it in the near future for sure. I would say that the Leafs would before. But how much money did Hill make himself this playoff run being a free agent?
he's holding up the Stanley Cup right now. He's probably gonna go from what did he make like 400,000 this year to 4 million at least next
2.2
year.
million to, and yeah, people were saying maybe 4.
4 million. So it's remarkable to see that they started off today, Hockey Night in Canada and Sports at CBC, saying, "Look at all the Canadians in the Vegas team." And did you see what Ron McLean did? He said, "Look at all the Canadians." And it's Don Cherry with the thumbs up and all that. And people are killing Ron McLean online for that. Again, it's a Canadian game, and I believe 20 out of the 22, 24 players are Canadian here. Does it just prove that, it's Canadian hockey here, Marty?
Uh, for these two teams, probably yes, but it's not what it used to be. There's a lot more players around the world now that are in this league that are dominant in this league, and it's not as much as it was before. Just strictly Canadians. It's and we see it when we play the Olympics and the World Cups and stuff like that. Other teams are just as good, if not ahead, at some points.
Last night, there was a party in Denver. Tonight, a party in Vegas. Marty, you've been to Vegas several times, maybe one. Taylor, have you been to Vegas?
No, but it looks fun with all the flamingos on the ice there.
All right. All right, Marty Roberts. I know you've been to Vegas there, and whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Think about the party tonight in Vegas, because I don't know. I would say 40% know what hockey is. 60% can't even spell hockey in Vegas. Can they?
Well, we'll see which players wake up not knowing where they're at, and we have a hangover 4 looking for them.
That's right. That's right. But again, Denver last night with the NBA, NHL, Vegas. Now, looking at next year, I'm going on the limb here. Listen to this because Taylor, especially, all right? If I'm wrong, Taylor, I will shave my head.
Are you going to
If
say
I'm
Maple Leafs are going to win?
no, if I'm right, Marty Roberts will walk down to Scarborough. He knows what I'm saying. We'll walk down to Scarborough. All right? I am guaranteeing Vegas or Florida will not be in next year's Stanley Cup. Remember, if I'm wrong, I will shave my head. If I'm right, Marty Roberts has to walk to Scarborough. Deal, Taylor?
Sure, deal.
Marty, do you accept?
Joe always makes these deals without getting the confirmation from anyone else first.
It seemed
Well,
like Florida just barely made it in. So like I'm not sure how they're even if they do keep all their pieces, right? It's still going to be a struggle, especially since there's a bunch of teams in the East um on the uptrend. So I don't know. Like Vegas still looks strong. So they should be a contender next year for sure, but
man, I don't care if they're a contender. I didn't say they're going to not be a contender. I said they're not going to go to the Stanley Cup. I'll take the field over Vegas and Florida.
Well, that's why I go out on a limb there, Joseph.
Yeah.
The field.
The field. 30 more teams. And even to be frank with you, Montreal's not going to go to the Stanley Cup. Buffalo Sabres not going to go to Stanley Cup. Detroit Red Wings not going to go to Stanley Cup. New York Islanders not going to go to Stanley Cup. Seattle Kraken's not going to go to Stanley Cup.
okay, so
Nashville Predators, Chicago, Columbus. I give you 8 teams who probably will go to the Stanley Cup.
how about if the Sabres get Hellbuck?
The Sabres are not getting Hallbuck. Some other team is getting Hallbuck. I can't say. Okay? I can't see. If you read my lips, you could understand it. Marty, did you read my lips?
I didn't look at your looks, Joseph.
You must be looking at something else. All right. So let's speak about.
I was just looking to see how many free agents Las Vegas has next year.
And what did you come up with, Marty?
They have 4 unrestricted free agents and 3 restricted free agents, which Hill is probably the biggest one of the free agents.
Is this also in their IR?
This is everyone that's showing. Everyone's showing here on Cap Friendly. They have going into right now. They will have projected cap space of $4 million only.
Yeah, but the biggest thing, they got to find Phil Kessel.
But they only got to sign 3. That's the thing. They have 23 roster spots. Obviously, they've signed 20, so they only got to sign 3 guys.
Well, like I said, Vegas is not going to make the Stanley Cup, all right? But on that note, let's get NHL-wise before we close it out here. Hollebuck, Marty Roberts, I'll start with you. He says he's not going to sign an extension in Winnipeg, so that means probably by the draft he will be traded. Taylor said to Buffalo, not going to happen. Taylor doesn't know what she's talking about. I do. Marty, where's Connor Hellbuck going to be?
I'm just gonna throw this one out there just because outside of injuries, it might have been the biggest Achilles heel for this team. Colorado.
He says Colorado. Taylor, you say Buffalo.
I was just throwing it out there. I know Hellbuck's on the market. I have to take an eye on my Jets because Pierre-Luc Dubois is doing his thing, and I know other players are also doing their thing. So the team's going to look drastically different, so I have to keep an eye out on them.
All right. Well, I could tell you it's not going to be the Maple Leafs. All right? It's not. Marty Roberts just thinking I'm going to make a big declaration it's going to be the Maple Leafs. No, it's not going to be the Maple Leafs. And it's not going to be the Buffalo Sabres. All right? Winnipeg could be, he's not going to stay long-term in Winnipeg, but if you look at it, Boston had the number 1 goalie. Boston wants to shake up their club. Boston needs a centerman where they're talking already Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, but they're also talking to Scheifele. Could it be a major trade in the works with Boston and Winnipeg? That's what I have heard. That
Well, put it this way: Boston has all of $3.5 million in cap space.
Yeah, but if they trade,
so they're going to have to work some, and they got Swayman, who's a free agent.
Yes.
So it's going to have to be awfully big that Winnipeg will take back in order to make that happen.
Well, a first-round pick this year and next year, and a player or two.
But that doesn't take the cap space away.
Well, a player or two. From what I hear, Boston is in it. Edmonton and Boston are also talking about Nugent Hopkins and Boston with their goalie who won or is going to win the Vezina this year. Also, the goalie from Buffalo, who used to be in Buffalo, and he was crap in Buffalo. Allmark there. But I want to touch on we'll stay in Winnipeg because that's Taylor's team. Taylor, I'll start off with you. What do you think Winnipeg does in this offseason and in the draft?
It could be anything. It could be a lot. They just have to have their ears open. They're probably just on the phone nonstop. Will their draft pick be open? They do have some good prospects coming through, so their draft picks their top draft picks can be open. But I think even if they want to focus on shorter term, a turnaround in 2-3 years versus 4 or 5, they should keep that draft.
All right, Marty, I'll start off with you with the Pittsburgh Penguins, your team.
Well, Penguins, like I told you earlier today, have $20 million in cap space available. So Dubas is going to be there. He's got some room to maneuver. What's he going to do? I think he needs to get Zucker keeps saying the right things. He wants to come back to Pittsburgh. He loved his time there. I don't think Pittsburgh wants him really that badly back. they need a better guy on that second line, and then fill in a guy or two on the third line, and then a goalie. So that's where they have to go. And I like to see them get Bertuzzi, Domi, and then maybe Anderson in between the pipes.
Those are those are two of the top three people that everyone want. Like Domi's name got thrown out a lot,
but the rest of them don't have the cap space that they do.
Yeah,
$20 million of cap space allows you to do stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So the big news next week is the draft. And from what I'm hearing, I'm no Elliot Friedman. I'm better. So I'm hearing that there's going to be major movement at the draft, not with players. I'm talking about trades. Marty, have you heard the same thing? And who do you think is going to make the biggest splash at the draft with trades and everything like that? Forget about drafting players.
Has Chicago decided who they're taking first overall yet?
Yes, the Chicago Blackhawks are not taking Marty Roberts first overall. They're not taking Marty Roberts.
I didn't know if they were struggling with that first overall.
I know it's between Connor Bedard and Marty Roberts. It's a tough choice because Marty plays like the hat of 12 people.
Eichel did get a Stanley Cup before McDavid.
Yeah, but before Matthews also. Put it that way.
I would expect a lot to happen at the draft. I would. There's got to be a lot of decisions made with a lot of these teams. Like the Leafs are one of them. Is Matthews going to sign? If he's not going to sign, what are you going to do with him? If he does sign, are you going to decide to trade one of the other two or three guys that they have there that they can move? So I expect a lot of movement going on at draft day. It's just a matter of what guys think that they can move up and down.
All right. As we conclude here, congratulations. And let's give it to Jack Eichel because the guy showed balls, all right? He was, did not want to play for Buffalo. They didn't want to take that surgery, but he took that surgery, finally getting traded to Vegas Golden Knights. And honestly, after maybe the first round, he was I'm not saying the best player, but a very good player and a very good player in the Stanley Cup final. And let's give it to Jack Eichel there. Any last comments? I'll start off with Taylor. Any last comments? And by the way, Taylor Woods, even though the season's over, we're still going to have you on because you got to bench press Marty Roberts, all right? During the summertime, you got to go and bench press and move like a 1,000-pound car. I got to keep you in shape because I'm in tip-top shape. I'm the president of the province of Canada, tip-top shape. So I got to keep you in shape. But any final thoughts here as we close out the NHL season?
No, well, that's how you move defenders in front of the net, right? It's just moving cars, right? So that's that training. But no, like you know what? They had a lot of different movement. It started from signing their coach right at the start. And yeah, it's been a build in the making, and it was a very exciting team, even from day one. So it was about time that they've won quickly. And yeah, just congrats to all the players.
All right, Marty, any final thoughts? Of course, hold on, Marty. Marty Roberts will be back on the flagship show, which is Thursday, discussing how great the Toronto Blue Jays look. I mean, how great the Baltimore Orioles look, and how great the Tampa Bay Rays look, and how maybe terrible Vlad Guerrero looks.
I'll just be happy when hockey is done before the month of June. How about that?
Will never happen. All right.
I know.
So, Marty, you'll start us off. How do everybody get a hold of you?
You can get a hold of me on Twitter, Instagram, OldLefty22, and this weekend in Vaughan at the Vaughan Baseball Tournament.
Why? Are you managing?
Well,
wait a minute. Hold on. Monday, Rumac and the Greek had a great producer. I don't know about the show, but they're a great producer. And the Greek says he took you out. He spent some of his FiredUp Network earnings and took you out to Arby's. Yes, Arby's. All right.
Yeah, he did. He treated me to Arby's, and it came up to like $26.19. The guy's never been to Arby's before in his life, but he pulled the move of he tapped his card, he went cleaned it off, blew on it, did it again, blew up. Finally, on the third time was the charm. It finally worked. I was getting a little nervous. I thought I was going to have to pull the $26.19 out of my own pocket because it's not like he hasn't done that before. at Harvey's or somewhere like that. But it finally worked. He got a little nervous. I saw the sweat beading from his forehead, but it did work. And yes, he did treat me to Arby's.
So, Taylor, have you ever been to Arby's?
No, and it's food, so I really don't want to talk about anything farther than.
You've never been to Arby's?
No.
Come on, that's too. How does Billy and you never have been to Arby's before?
I don't know.
They don't make your Harvey.
Joseph.
I don't know what to say there. I've been to Arby's. I've been to Harvey's. I've been to Arby's. I've been to Barry's.
Arby's are great roast beef sandwiches. They're
Great
classics.
roast beef sandwiches. But for $26.19, they better have for 26 roast beef sandwiches.
You know what else is really good, Taylor? They got this nice chocolate milkshakes. They got these apple turnovers.
Eventually, not now.
And curly fries. Curly fries.
I drank 3 protein shakes today. And had all the white rice. It's
so Taylor, once again, tell us what's your next event Thursday, and what are you vying for with that?
Yeah, so I leave on Thursday. I weigh in Friday. The event is in Denver, Colorado. Saturday, it's 12 p.m. Mountain Time, so 2 Eastern. It should be on ESPN down in the States. Addy Live as well if you want to just watch online. It is the U64 Pro Strongman League Championship. So there's a bunch of U64 athletes, weight class athletes from around the world coming in, and we are going to throw it down, lifting stones, logs. There's a movement medley with a bunch of random objects that we have to lift as well, and of course deadlifts. So it'll be a fun time. But yeah, I can't wait to eat on Friday.
Are you going to Arby's?
I don't know if they have that down in the States.
They have it in the States.
But I would.
Well, if you're at Colorado, I don't know if Colorado does or not. You got to go to Steak and Shake then when you're down there.
I could.
You ever had Steak and Shake?
You know what? I haven't, but I'm craving fries. So.
Fries.
Steak and Shake. A family of 5 can eat there for $30.
Wow. I will be eating like a family of 5 anyway, so that's perfect.
All right, I'm hungry, so let's cut this off now. You've been watching, and Taylor, tell everybody how they could get a hold of you.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram at TWits and then Twitter occasionally at Tay_storm.
Occasionally, all right.
Occasionally, yeah.
That will do it for the NHL Lowdown tonight. Again, congratulations to the Vegas Golden Knights winning Game 5, winning the Stanley Cup, winning the series 4-1. Game 5, 9-3 Vegas wins. So Vegas winning the Stanley Cup. And for Marty Roberts, if he was in Vegas, he would be partying like 1999. All right. And by the way, Taylor, Thursday, I believe, you said you're in Denver. I believe the parade for the Denver Nuggets are on Thursday, all right? I'm going to call you. You're going to do some work for the Fired Up Network. Hell, you're not doing anything. You can't eat. You can't do anything. You got to go out in front of like 400,000 fans and try to get an interview with
Is the parade still going at like 10 p.m.?
Sorry.
I'm flying late.
I don't know what time, but try to get an interview with Canadian Kitchener boy Jamal Murray. Tell him you're a champion. He's a champion. He'll give you the interview. Don't go to Jokic because these Americans and Serbians, they don't like that. But Canadians are friendly and everything like that. And Jamal Murray will give you an interview. Just say Marty Roberts asked to get that interview. If that doesn't work, Drew Ebanks, okay? So,
Joseph, how friendly are Canadians when Adam Hadwin gets hammered at the Canadian Open by security?
Spring.
His wife's on there. His wife's on there popping off jokes about it and all this stuff. Like that has to be the most classic thing I've seen in a long time.
A nice
a guy he threw up the opening pitch for the Jays as well on the Wednesday, and on Sunday he's getting hammered by the security guard. Like, does anyone just show up with a bottle of champagne? Is that what the security guard was thinking, that someone had it in their backpack?
And the other guy, it looks like a guy from the RBC Canadian Open. No, don't touch him. That's oh my God. And so
hammers him. But you know what? I'll get like the wife for I think her name's Jessica, has been on Twitter just like having a great time with it. It was classic. It was classic.
All right. So again, big week for Canada here with the Canadian Golfing Open, the RBC Open, Canadian Golfing Open, with a Canadian winning it, Nick Taylor. And then him getting attacked, had win. Then, like I said, Jamal Murray the next night winning the Larry OB, well, the Denver Nuggets, but Jamal's playing for Denver. And 22 out of like 26 players from Vegas are Canadian. So Marty Roberts has requested, he just texted me, he wants to sing it since this is the last time NHL Lowdown for the 2022-23 season. Sing O Canada, Marley.
Why do I want to sing "O Canada"?
Because you
I'm not
mentioned,
singing "O Canada."
listen, Taylor, go knock him down. We're spreading champagne in Vegas and everything. Knock him down. Come on.
Here, I will sing this. So I'll sing this song for you. Okay? Maybe I'll sing it. We'll see. Let's see. Maybe. Last night we let the whiskey talk. Remember everything we said, but we said it all. That's all I'm going.
and he let the whiskey talk for Marty Roberts, for Taylor Woods. Stay tuned for more great programming here on the Fired Up Network, and good luck on the weekend, Taylor,
Good luck,
in
Taylor.
your
Thank you.
competition. And Taylor will be back here periodically throughout the summer discussing competitions, discussing hockey, female hockey, male hockey, and discussing how Marty Roberts cannot sing but can go to Arby's and waste $26 on whatever he ate. Thanks a lot, guys.